Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Win with Heather Havenwood. And I'm going to be having someone on the call today that's going to be talking about how to actually make money with your knowledge. So if you are a coach, author, speaker, or you want to be a coach, author, speaker, or if you just think you're a know-it-all and you want to make money from that, then listen up. This is now the time to raise the volume and listen to The Win with Heather Havenwood. You can check us out at iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Roku, all the different places across the web, and of course other places as well. Make sure you check us out at The Win with Heather Havenwood, and of course also on iTunes. Woo-hoo! All right, so I'm going to introduce our first guest today. Cindy Nicholson is a former teacher and corporate trainer who helps entrepreneurs design and develop online courses that get real results. She calls herself the Course Whisperer for her keen ability to turn the incredible knowledge of her clients into effective and engaging learning material. After years of creating training programs in the corporate world, Cindy wants to help entrepreneurs level up their own online courses so that they create loyal, raving fans and make money, Cindy, right?
Absolutely.
You're missing that out of the bio. I mean, that's the most important part. I think online courses are great because they can leverage people's time, right? So it's a leverageability scale. I've been in the information marketing business since 2001, and I've actually had to put together for a friend of mine. He's like, how many millions of dollars have you sold information marketing? And I had to really think about it. And I think it's in the double digits, 30 million plus in online marketing or information marketing sales, right? So it's a very unique niche in the world of online courses or just course creation where you're taking your knowledge and extracting it. So tell us a little more like what you did in the corporate world and how long were you there?
Well, I started out as a high school teacher, but I loved teaching, but didn't love what I was teaching. So I got interested in the financial industry and completely changed careers and moved to become a financial advisor. Okay. And then I enjoyed it, but I missed the teaching. And if somebody had mentioned, well, you've got a background in teaching, why don't you explore corporate training? And I don't know if I even understood what the concept was back then. And coincidentally, that same day, I went back to my office and there was a posting to train financial advisors on new financial advisors to the bank. I work in one of the big banks in Canada. And it was perfect for me because I had the opportunity of getting back in the teaching world, but teaching really relevant application type knowledge to my learners. Adult learners are the best learners from that perspective. They all often really want to learn the material that you want. So I had a program, an online and face-to-face program where new hires to the bank, we took them through a 90-day training period, and I was responsible for designing, developing, and delivering that program I was there for about 9 years.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So 9 years. So mainly in the financial space where you're teaching the onboarding or recruiting aspect. Like they've already been recruited. They've said yes to the job, right? And then you're kind of onboarding them. Is that where you got started?
Yeah, it's once they've been hired by their manager, then we have a sales process that we take our advisors through in terms of the interaction with their clients. So it's kind of introducing them to that sales process and giving them a chance to practice and become proficient in it so that they can go back to the branches and deliver that to the clients. So
okay, so here's something really interesting to me, right? So are you a salesperson?
Well, I was a salesperson because I was a financial advisor before I moved into the role. So
yeah.
I have that sales background
right.
combined with my teaching background.
Yeah. So what's really interesting to me in my experience is that great salespeople are not great teachers and great teachers are not great salespeople. Now, there's always like a fine line and some people are unicorns, but a good teacher really can explain something in a process and get it over in their head. And I talk about this all the time with my clients because I'm like, look, if you're a teacher and can explain things, then you're a teacher. Like there's a particular way and there's a huge advocacy of that. If you're a salespeople, majority of people I know that are really good pitch people, I'm trying to get like pitch people, like true salespeople, they suck at teaching. They do. So, right. I mean, I'm one of them, by the way. Do not put me in teaching environment. I'm a horrible waiter. I have no patience. I will sell you, and then I pass them on, right? So it's interesting to me that when you got started, you were teaching a sales process. what was that like? And then were you connected at all to the results of the advisor?
In terms of my performance sort of thing?
Yeah, performance or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny, the traditional salespeople are often, pushing the product and selling the product, and the sales process that we, advocate, or when I used to be in the branch or the bank, was really kind of getting to know the client and understanding their needs and asking them great questions and drawing that information. And then the advice or the recommendation would be based on that information. So that's kind of how we would teach our salespeople, because they would come in with, okay, well, I need to know the details of the product, the features and benefits of the product, and so how can I sell them? But we would kind of take them around the different approach where getting to know the client, understanding what their goals are, et cetera, and then providing them a solution based on who they are. So we would get the traditional salespeople and kind of teach them a different approach to, offering solutions to clients. So.
Oh, it's great. No, I love that. Okay, great. So so you're in that environment, then how did you move to where you're at now, which is the Course Whisperer?
So I decided to stay home for a few years with my kids, and got out of the corporate world, got out of this slugging downtown in the middle of winter kind of thing. And I really loved being at home, but I also missed work. So while I was at home, I got really interested in nutrition, actually. And I went back to school to study nutrition, and thought I was going to build a business online with nutrition. And while I was kind of learning about building my business, I was taking some online courses. Yeah. And I, being a teacher, like I look at online courses and critique them, and like, oh, this is missing and this is missing, and oh, I wish it had this. And I just struggled with courses that I would take. And then the people that I was taking the courses with, we'd have these mastermind groups on the side, and I found I was often helping them with how to structure some of their offers that they had. And I kept doing it over and over again. And I found that that's what I really enjoyed, was helping people figure out how to kind of take what they have in their brain and put it into a message that makes sense for their clients from a learning perspective. And, you always hear about, pay attention to what turns you on, like that, what lights you up, right? And I remember getting off the phone call with one of the colleagues in one of my groups, and I'm like, God, that was fun. When I was helping her with her design of her course that she was creating, I'm like, wow, I A, enjoy it, B, I actually have a skill set here. I kind of didn't realize that, some people may be great at what they know, but may not be able to translate that as easily for their clients. So that was kind of the spark that made me think, maybe there's something I can work with here.
Yeah. So I've been in the speaking world for almost 20 years, I think, at this point. And I always tell people when they come to me, they want to be a speaker, author, coach, or whatever they want. There's this distinction between coach, speaker, pitch man, and then trainer, which I'm going to put teacher in that too. Okay. And trainers and teachers are very distinct. So when I was traveling the country and we were the pitch people, our job was to, pitch people into the 3-day event for $3,000. And honestly, most of us who had, for years, not all of us, but most of us had never even been to the course, right? Right. We're just salespeople. Like, our job is we know the results of the clients. We know what they're going to get out of it. But like, we've never even been through the course, maybe. Sometimes we have. So I think it's a really interesting distinction that you're talking about, because again, this kind of goes to what I'm talking about. Salespeople, like true salespeople, are not, and I'm telling you this because I want them to hire you. They are not good at what you do. Okay. Salespeople suck at training and they suck at teaching. I mean, I'm a salesperson. Now I can tell people what to do, but training them is like chalk on a, it's just nails on a chalkboard for me, right? It's like the opposite of what I want to do. So in the perfect world, when I worked in the seminar business, we'd have someone like myself who was the pitch person, and then we'd have someone like you on the back end who liked, was the teacher that everyone loved and adored. And like, you were awesome and patient and sweet, cause you are, I can totally tell you're awesome. So I want to describe this to people if they're listening and they're a speaker, an author, a coach, or they're an expert. why would I need someone like hers? Because one, if you know the knowledge, you need to have someone outside of you to help you get it. Number one. Number two, if you're really good at sales or coaching, you're probably not good at course creation. It's a totally different kind of, mindset and skill set. Would you agree with that or no?
Yeah, 100%. And it's interesting, when I was doing the validation of whether or not this kind of business model made sense, a lot of people, when I was interviewing people and I tell them what I did, they'd be like, oh, I know a number of people who would benefit from your services, but these people don't know it. And so if I would ask people about helping with their content, they'd be like, well, I already know the content. So that's kind of one of the things, is for people to realize they need somebody to help them figure out how to break down. It's really called the curse of knowledge, that you just know everything so well, you don't necessarily know how to break it down into manageable pieces so that somebody who's new can learn from it.
Okay, so let's go down this road. Do you have a process that you go take someone down? And with that process, do you, the person who's helping them with this, do you have to know anything about their niche?
Yeah, so absolutely, I have a process that I take my clients through in terms of getting them to that course creation, or the course created. And it really, number one, it starts with validating the course idea. So you got an idea, does it make sense? If you create this course, will people buy it? And a lot of really good stuff comes out of that validation, because you want to talk to your audience and find out what their pain points, what they're struggling with, what they need your help with. And then from there, you really identify what the course outcome is. Rather than a course topic, you want a course outcome. So what is the result they're going to get by taking your course? And being very specific on it is really helpful from a learning perspective, but also helpful from a sales perspective. And then once you get there, then you can develop the course outline, then the content can be created, and et cetera, et cetera. So there's a real clear process that I go through, and it really spends time at the beginning understanding the course outcome, who the course is designed for. The audience, you want to be really specific and clear on who the audience is that's going to be taking your course. That way the course can be designed, tailored for them, so that all of the learning is going to resonate with your particular learners.
Okay, so quick question. Do you have, when I help clients create books and write books, there's there's a process I take them through. Number two, I tell them what I call a structure, how it needs to be at the end, how long it needs to be, or length and all that. Do you have a suggestion on that, how long it needs to be? Because there's all over the place on courses. It could be an hour, it could be 16 hours, does it need to be video? What, is there something that you suggest now and where we're at today?
Yeah, well, it depends on what the content is. It depends what the outcome is of how long the course will be. But I would say that no more than you'd have, because I break my courses down into modules, kind of like stepping stones that chapters, I suppose, in a book.
Yeah, chapters, yeah.
And then within the modules, there'd be these individual lessons that allow them to achieve that outcome of that particular module. And I would say no more than 5 modules with 5 lessons within it. And the lessons are short, no more than 5 to 10 minute lesson within each of those modules. So that would be the biggest I would recommend. If it's going to be bigger than that, then you probably haven't honed down on the pain point enough, what the outcome is, because then I would usually recommend separating it if it gets too big.
So I think that's really interesting. You said 5. So in the world of marketing and sales, we don't like that number.
Okay.
So why 5?
Well, usually the introduction and the development in the first module, and kind of the putting it all together in the last module, and then 3 in the middle in terms of the content and the meat of the course.
Okay.
And the ones that I put together, they've all worked out to be 5 modules. I don't know. Obviously depends, but.
Yeah. So in marketing, right, it's 3 reasons on why, or 7 top reasons on why, or 10 things you need to know about, right? So 3, 7, 10 is kind of the, you see that all over on articles and stuff like that. So 5 just seems kind of weird. I'm not saying it's wrong. You're the expert. I just was that just really surprised me. So with books, it's usually 10 to 12 chapters. That's kind of a little sweet spot, right? A little more than that, a little less than that. Is it really a book? So that 10 to 12 little sweet spot, 120 pages, 160 pages. That's a little what I call sweet spot where it becomes like a nice book, readable, not
Yeah, and it's funny. It's the exact same with 5. 6, 7, 8. Like you're getting too big of a course. Less than that, you're maybe not giving them enough content to get the results. So, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, right? But I mean, it's in our experience. I always find that that's kind of like the sweet spot too, and what I've been taught. So that's really interesting. 5. Never would have guessed that at all. I love that. You taught me something. Thank you so much. So make sure you guys are listening because this is great. So again, if you're lost for a second, I want you to understand what she's talking about. It's taking your knowledge in something. Okay, if you've ever heard of Udemy, if you go on LinkedIn, they have a whole array of basically online courses now, right? It's all about taking your knowledge from something and extracting in such a way that actually it can be taught by somebody else, right? Where it can be leveraging your time versus doing one-on-one. That's what course creation is about. It's a leverageable tool, basically, right? Taking your knowledge and using it in such a way it was across platforms. Now let's talk about platforms. I'm just curious, do you have a specific thing that you find that is best consumable? And what I mean by that is when we're in the seminar business, we would always we had metrics. We had metrics on how can we get the people to consume more of the data and the information, because we knew that if we can get them to consume more of the information, the chances of them being more successful with our information was higher, right? That kind of makes sense. But we had like metrics. We literally had metrics. And this was in a live seminar format, so we could control the environment way more. What do you have any of those metrics, or does the industry have those metrics now?
I'm not sure of any specific metrics. However, you may have heard, different people have different learning styles and prefer to learn in different ways. Video tends to be the most popular, but then providing the audio and the script is good backup for those people that prefer that learning style. Yeah. And then, not only just the video, then having some sort of activity, worksheets, application exercise that they have after the video so they can start to learn and apply it. Because just because they see it on video doesn't mean they've internalized it, nor are they able to change any behavior because of it. So it's kind of having kind of multiple sources for people to learn from is really the idea.
And do you actually help, Cindy, do you help them create those worksheets and exercise sheets? Whenever I hear stuff like that, I go right back to like second grade, like the worksheet. I mean, I go through courses all the time, but I get those, the worksheets and the things you fill out. And every time I do them, I learn more, but I always think about like in second grade for some reason. Do you help them create those? Do you help the content creator help create that?
Yeah, exactly. So when there's a couple of different ways I work with my clients, but one of the things we do at the outset is create kind of the course outline. And within the course outline, what are the lessons going to be and what is the outcome of that particular lesson? And the outcome should have some sort of activity. So whether it's a worksheet or an exercise or something, there will be something for each lesson so that your learners can kind of start to begin to get like these small wins that they feel like they're learning something so that they'll continue on with the course. And so if it's a worksheet, I don't really recommend workbooks. Like I don't recommend like a 16-page workbook. Yeah. Clients aren't going to print it off. They're not going to do anything with it. I recommend 1 to 2 pages. That's it, maximum. But yeah, I definitely help them I either do it for them or I give them advice on how to put it all together for sure.
On how to, it's like putting it all together so that people can go, oh, I'm learning this. I'm digesting this. I feel good. Something I've learned in the information business, seminar business years ago, and our structure was very different. It was like $3,000 for a 3-day event. If the teacher or the trainer gave too much, like they just over delivered, because they're over there in their head, probably I've got to give more and more and more and more because they spend so much money. Whenever they over delivered, basically, people left confused and overwhelmed and actually unsatisfied. When the trainer would just deliver the content as kind of more it's designed, which in their view usually was like not enough, the people left satisfied, happy, content, and satisfied with their decision, which is so counterintuitive. And since our model was, and this is where my question is, our model was to sell them more information, not just to have that at the end, right? Like the next course, 101, 102, 103, 104. If we over delivered, then they wouldn't buy. If we gave them enough to feel not full, but like, I'm not hungry, but like, I know I'll be hungry soon kind of thing, they would buy. Do you find the same thing online as well, or?
You've nailed it on you've nailed it perfectly, Heather, in terms of the biggest mistake I see people make with online courses is they provide way too much content, and it leaves them overwhelmed, discouraged, and they check out. And it's, as you say, it's counterintuitive, right? From a marketing perspective, you hear about over deliver and provide and provide and provide, but with creating courses, less is actually more. Because what people don't, if people are taking a course, they're not wanting content, they're wanting the results. And if you can get them the results in the shortest period of time possible, that's what you're selling, as opposed to the reams and reams of information you can dump on them. Mm-hmm. And from a learning perspective, as an adult learner, we are very sensitive to stuff that doesn't apply to us or stuff that we don't need to know. So we can tune that out really quickly. And if you give them content in your course that doesn't apply, that they don't need to know, is not urgent for them, they're tuning out. And then you've just lost your student. So that is probably, in all the courses that I've taken, that's probably the single biggest mistake that people make. So that is exactly it, Heather.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So you talk about results. When you're in a 3-day event, they're just learning the information because they haven't gotten the results yet, right? They haven't gone out in the world and applied. So what we always noticed is that we weren't really selling results. We were selling confidence to get the results, right? We're going to give you this information to give you the confidence to be able to get that result, right? Yeah. So whenever I just had this conversation with a client, if he's listening, he'll understand who it is. I literally did a kind of a thing for almost, I swear, half an hour. It felt longer. He was about to kill me. But I was like, what do you sell? And he was just everywhere on the planet. And finally, he's like, I don't know, just tell me the answer, right? And I was like, you're selling confidence. And he's like, well, maybe. I'm like, you are. When you're dealing with any kind of information marketing, including university, let's just talk university for a second, Harvard, a local, whatever. Universities are selling confidence, right? So this is their confidence pitch. If you go to the local community college, you may or may not get a great job afterwards. The confidence is lower. Right. Go to Harvard, your confidence is extremely high to get a high-paying job, right? It's a confidence level. They think it's an education level. It's not. I promise you, if they take both people and students, I know a lot of people that went to community college are probably smarter than Harvard because of this different kind of communication, right? So the point is that it's a confident conversation. Go to this school and have the confidence to be able to apply to the top law firm in the world or whatever, right? You go here, you're not going to probably have the confidence to go apply to CNN or something like that, right? It's the confidence conversation. Would you agree with that?
In terms of online courses or just with universities and stuff?
Universities and sometimes online courses.
Yeah. I think that, in terms of the marketing materials and selling the online course, you want to sell them the confidence that they'll be able to have a particular result because it's not the learning that they want, it's that outcome, which is often confidence, because by searching online for a course on such and such, it's because they are not confident in what it is they do right now. So they want to boost that confidence. And that comes with a lot of my courses that I design for my clients has a mindset component to it, because a lot of it isn't the skill, it's actually getting your head around being able to do whatever it is that you have to do. So it gives the confidence from that perspective, but it also gives them some technical skills and abilities to be able to perform once they finish the course.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to go my example for just a second with the universities, the confidence. So I remember seeing these stats, and the stats are basically, if my kid goes to this school, what's the percentage of the other alumni getting jobs, And like the higher the number, it's almost like, okay, we're going to that school because there's a higher percentage or higher confidence that their kid's going to get a job, right? But there's really no guarantee, but they see this number that 80% of the college graduates from whatever, University of South Carolina get a degree, get a job over 80,000. They're like, we're going there, So it's kind of this weird confidence. I think there's some correlation to that with online marketing. And the reason I say that is because, we went to school since we were, probably 6 years old. And then we go all the way through college. That's at least sometimes 15, 16, 17, 18 years of our life, and so we're trained to do the same kind of behavior online, no matter what, right? So I think there's some correlation to that. That's really cool. So where do you see the future of courses happening? Some people say it's dead, or I've heard some things, on some groups that it's dead. What do you see as the future?
I think the bad online courses are dead. I think that there is enough people who've been burned from taking courses that haven't been well designed and aren't effective that they're like, I'm not taking another online course again because the course didn't deliver what these, the promises of when they purchased it were. So I think that because the bar to create online courses is really low now, like anybody and their brother can create a course. I think what is going to happen is there's going to be a separation of, the bad quality courses and then the good quality courses, standing true or holding firm. So I think bad quality courses are dead. I don't think you can get away with just, throwing up a video and, a couple of quizzes or what have you. I think good quality courses are going to survive. And then I also think we're going to be going into more of a just-in-time learning, just-in-time courses. So rather than taking a massive course on how to build a business, I think the courses are going to be more specific to particular outcomes because, I made this mistake when I first started out. I would take these big, massive courses, but only a couple of the modules applied to me. So I kind of came to, I don't need all of this other stuff. I'm going to look for a course on this because that's what I'm struggling with right now. So I think there'll be a lot more just-in-time learning. So if we can really hone down on what the pain point is of the client, that will be what will sell for clients, not these big, massive, all save the world kind of courses. It'll be more specific and solving specific pain points.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think things are moving so fast with online marketing and different media buying, Facebook ads. Me, it's chat bots, Instagram. I mean, I've been online since 2001. I actually have a master's degree in online marketing, believe it or not. And it's by the time I finished the master's degree, it was already out of date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why did I pay for this? But I did. I could have taught it. Some of the professors, quote unquote professors, they weren't even professors because we were the first class to go through in the country in 2010.
Wow.
And first master's degree in the country. So no one knew what they were doing. I did because I'd already run a business online from $0 to $1 million in 2005 and started online in 2001. So I actually knew what I was doing. So people were like, why don't you teach the class? I'm like, I don't know, because I'm paying you. Like, you should be teaching me. The point is that it already was done. Right. Like it was already old. And just to give you some fun facts that I think you'd find fun in the teaching world you're in. So 1999, true story. I'm at University of Texas at Arlington, which is a subsidiary of University of Texas. And I was in a marketing class. It was big, boring about big brands like Coca-Cola. And our marketing professor tapped like 10 of us, like privately, and said, hey, I got approved a course. It's going to be 3 credits. It's called an internet marketing course. This is $19.99. They go, would you like to take it? Of course, we're all kids. And we're like, do we get credit? So she's like, yeah. So our day one, she's like, okay, there's no textbooks. No one knows what anyone's doing. We're all just going to figure out how to build a business online by the end of the semester. Like that was
That's amazing.
Right. So I have the original business plan, basic business plan. That was the entire semester. And we had to like go to the library and figure all this out. And I still have it to this day. It's really thick. And I remember going through it recently, and it's things like, how to market, like, AOL ads, it's just like, this is really old stuff. This is me, by the way, people listening, this is pre-Twitter, pre-YouTube, pre-Google, pre-Facebook, pre-everything that I mean, it's, right? Pre-webinar jam, pre-go-to-meeting, like, none of that existed, so only SEO existed, really, in little ads that they were trying to, now we call them Google AdWords or something. But back then it was these little random ads on AOL, So anyway, things have changed, Cindy.
They have
altered. So the point is things are going to change again.
Yeah. And that's why I think the online learning environment is going to, continue to exist, because it's probably the medium that can be the most responsive to changes in terms of for people to take it on an ongoing basis.
Times. Yeah, no, I completely agree to that. So tell us more, like, where can people find you? If they're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to take my knowledge and I want to turn it into something, where can they find you? Where can they raise their hand and say, yes, I want to work with you?
They can come find me at thecoursewhisperer.co. So that's my website. And I've actually got some free resources for your audience, Heather, if they're interested. So if they go to thecoursewhisperer.co/thewin, I've got a template for how to create your course outline. So if people are trying to figure out how to get started, how to organize all of that stuff, I've got a template for how to do it. And then I've also got a free mini course on how to validate your course. So if you've got a course idea, how do you know it's going to sell? I've got a mini course that you can go through to kind of walk you through the 3 steps that I recommend people go to make sure that their course will sell. And they can also reach out to me through that link if they want to chat and see how I can help them, raise the bar, make that course that they want to create really good.
Oh, I love it. That's great. So thecoursewhisperer.co/thewin.
You got it.
Woo-woo! Go there now. thecoursewhisperer.co/thewin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Course Whisperer.
Oh, I apologize. The Course Whisperer.co.
It's like whisperer. Anyway.
It's 2 R's basically, everybody. Y'all can figure that out. The Course Whisperer, ERER.co/thewin. Like, just go there. I mean, like, here's the thing. We all have to figure out what our knowledge is to be able to then pull that out and sell that and leverage ourselves. And that's what you do. And you're obviously very good at it. And I really acknowledge you and thank you for what you're doing and helping hundreds and thousands of people to, learn a new skill set every day through your clients. I think it's really awesome. And thank you for the free gifts.
Well, I appreciate your time, Heather. It's amazing the work that you do. So thanks for connecting.
Oh, awesome. All right, everyone, this is a Win with Heather Havenwood. You can check us out at heatherhavenwood.com, as well as iHeart, Spotify, and Roku. See you next time. Bye.